And this is Engelgeist. I am here to do the fire signs now. I'm doing Aries, Leo, and Sag. One moment while I just share this out to groups really quick. Give me one moment and then we'll get started. This is for the month of March. And I am going to start with Aries, then do Leo, and then do Sagittarius. So this is a broad spectrum reading for, people with their sun, moon, or rising in any of these signs. And so, or if you have heavily placed planets in these signs. Wait, what am I doing? Oh God, I can never do this right. Probably gonna end up in Facebook jail for doing it this way, but I'm gonna try it. Oh, it's happening, it's happening. So you guys, if you want to support the channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a like, or give my business page a like. It helps to keep these videos free. I think that's it, right? Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm going to shuffle the cards. This is basically a Tarotscope, right? So it's using tarot cards and your horoscope to kind of see what sort of predictions we can make for the month of March for my fire signs, starting with Aries. So if you have an Aries rising, an Aries moon, or an Aries, you're born under an Aries sun sign, this reading would be for you. If you have heavily placed planets in Aries, like if you are, you got a bunch of planets that were in Aries, then this reading also would be for you. You can cross-watch different signs too. So like if you have, like say I'm going to use my signs for example. I have a Pisces sun sign with an Aquarius moon and an Aries rising. So I would watch this Aries reading to find out a little bit about what's going on with my rising sign, because all of that stuff has an effect. And then you would take all three different readings and kind of, blend them together to kind of get an idea of what your month might turn out to be like. Now this is a broad spectrum reading for all of those people, all the people that could potentially watch this. So some of it may apply and some may not. So keep that in mind. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. It doesn't mean that anything bad or wrong is happening. It's just that this reading might be intended for somebody else. And if it does fit or it makes sense what I'm saying to you, please leave me a comment, especially at the business page or on my YouTube channel on the video once it's uploaded, because I see those first and I try and respond at those two places more so than in the groups where this gets where these get posted out to. Okay? And beyond that, you can follow me on Instagram if you'd like at Engelgeist333. I'm not a huge poster of that, but if you do Instagram, please follow me there. And if you don't mind sharing out this video, I would greatly appreciate it. If you have Twitter, I'm not on Twitter, or if you're on Instagram, I can't even figure out how to shoot an Instagram video. It's kind of like I'm a little not social media savvy. So let's get into March 2020 for my Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising and see what's going on with them. And by the way, if anybody's commenting, I don't have a chat box up. This is broadcasting to multiple platforms, so I can't see any comments, guys. So if you're commenting, you need to leave them at the business page or on my YouTube channel once the video is fully uploaded, because I can't see them right now. I'm on a cross-platforming stream service, so I specifically did not put my chat box up because I want to concentrate on the readings, not on what you guys are saying. Okay, so let's see what's going on for Aries in March, guys. My fiery little rams. My little fat, gassy rams. What's going on with you guys? Okay. Now, this first card is what I call the default setting card. This card tells me a little bit about sort of where things are at, where you're vibrating at most of the month, right? So it's not the entire month, but the majority of the month. It also gives me insight into sort of what you could potentially be creating for the future, because this is the vibration that you're putting out in the month of March. So keep that in mind. So your first card, beautiful. This is what Pisces ended out on. This is the Nine of Pentacles. This is a very abundant card. Pentacles deals with the energy of Earth, and so this is all about material wealth. This is all about sort of having the things that we want, the good graces that we want. To me, when I look at this in this placement for your sign, it feels like feeling like you're achieving your goals, using that dynamic, fiery energy of Aries, and actually seeing the benefits of what we've been working hard for actually starting to pay off in the month of March. Feeling like our work is actually, like the effort that we're putting in is starting to bear fruit, so to speak. I look at this card, she feels very pleased with herself. I'm getting a very different vibe from this card in this reading than I was for Pisces reading. To me, this feels much more material based, and it feels like if there's career things that we're working on, if there's changes in our financial situation that we've been working towards, this feels like the appreciation of seeing those changes actually take place and manifest, right? So this is a very nice card. This is very good. Hold on one second. Tallulah! Can you stop? Leave him alone. He's resting. Leave him alone. Go lay down. You don't need to bathe anybody right now. My dog, she loves to lick dicks. I don't know why, but she goes around licking dicks all day. She's just like her father. It's gross. Okay, so this is about like really understanding, our own sort of physical prowess in getting out there, seeing the dream, working towards the dream, and really making the dream happen. And it feels like March is the month where we get to sit back and really enjoy our creation. Okay, whatever that may be. If the dream was like a job and better finances, great. This will be the month where we get to see more of that and get to really realize that's what we've created. If that it was a loving relationship, right, that's based on mutual respect and harmony, and we're gonna see that, right, because we put in the time, we put in the energy. And to me, this is a very beneficial default setting card. It means we're actually setting ourselves up for potentially some more good to come to us too, having this as our center for the month of March. So keep that in mind, guys. This next card is what I call the foundation. This is sort of using an analogy of building a house. The foundation is the first thing that you would lay to build the house. So the foundation card is kind of the card from the past that holds everything in place. Okay? So it's the memory of this card or this event that not only open the door for these cards to come into play the way they are in March, but also it kind of holds them in place. So this is the Wheel of Fortune. So again, this is a major arcana card. Big energy on the majors, okay? We always want to like take them to pay attention to the major arcanas. To me, this Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune is always this idea of the universe giving us exactly what we ask for or what we focus on. And it sometimes moves slowly, but it will move in the direction where we put our intention or our attention. And to me, this being in the past, it feels like I'm looking at this woman. Let me just show you this card. I feel like this woman, see her? This is my Aries. She's talking to her spirit guide. Or she's talking to her guardian angel. She's talking to her, maybe that's her own spirit for some of you. But we were sitting somewhere, I'm just going to use this as an analogy or an example, maybe a few months ago, and we were like, I really want things to be a certain way. I need to make a plan. And then we took that wonderful, fiery Aries, energy, and we worked towards that plan. And we watched the wheel as it began to spin slowly in our favor, and it gets us to the month of March where it feels like stuff is going to start to pay off. We're going to start to see the fruits of our labor and really be able to enjoy them, okay? Now, what I do want to say, the significance of this being the foundation card is this wheel is still spinning, Aries. Keep that in mind. There's still a slow universal pull that's happening as your foundation that will work in your favor. Spirit is still listening. Spirit is still with you, supporting you, and will continue to, whatever you put forth, like with this Nine of Pentacles, Spirit will sort of return back to you, is what this Wheel of Fortune is telling me in this position, okay? So keep that in mind if you find yourself going down the tubes, feeling a little bit pessimistic, a little bit miserable. Don't let that happen. Stay in this Nine of Pentacles energy of feeling accomplished, abundant, happy. Even if your finances aren't great, feel as if they are, and watch them change. They may change slowly, but this being the foundation says it's still, you still have this heavy duty power of the Wheel of Fortune working underneath all of this for you, if you allow it. Right? The next one is your spirit or soul card. This is above you. It tells me a little bit about where your spirit or soul is at, what it wants you to look at. Wow. Okay, you guys have the Lovers card. I'm going to just set it here so you can see it for a moment. The Lovers, again, major arcana, guys. No joke for Aries the month of March. You've got a foundation based in major arcana, and you've got your Soul's card based in major arcana energy. So the Lovers card to me is about the idea, this could be people with a Venus in Aries also. You might want to watch this. To me, this could be the manifestation of an actual real love, taking that card very literally, the Lovers card. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not the Lovers card. This is the Two of Cups. Still a union. The Two of Cups is still a union, a very emotional union. It's not as deep as the Lovers. I'm sorry, I mistook the art here as the Lovers. It is the Two of Cups, so I'm going to back up. This is the union, but it's not as intense as, say, the Lovers. This is a union that's emotionally strong. This could be a union with ourselves, right? An emotional connection to ourselves, a feeling of completion, or a feeling of achievement through this Nine of Pentacles that we have going on as our center. But whatever, to be honest, what I'm going to say for most of you is we're going to be feeling so good about our accomplishments in the month of March that we might actually open the door for us to be able to connect to others in a much deeper way. And Spirit wants that for us. I'm hearing this sort of thing about, like, Aries, you go too fast, you run too fast, and you don't, you sort of like are doing, and you're not saving enough time sort of for the emotional connection aspect of it. And Spirit wants you to start to bring that into your space, into your life, to feel that emotional connection, not only to yourself, but to those around you. You've created sort of the opportunity, the wealth, the abundance. Now it's time to start to take the next steps of exploring like a deeper connection, to share this maybe with somebody or within yourself. It's interesting too, we have these two here in this Two of Cups, and I love that we have this woman here talking with her spirit guide. I feel like I'm looking at this Wheel of Fortune, and it's like 3 months ago is what I feel like. 3 or 4 months ago, you had a dream, or you had a conversation with yourself, and you didn't even realize it, and you were saying, God, it'd be nice if I had this, and God, well, maybe if I did that, I could maybe get that done. And you did it, and you got it done. And here you are, and now it's time to take the next step and to deepen like sort of connections with ourselves, and thus connection with others in a more deeper way at a spiritual and emotional level that's going to bring us more joy and abundance. Okay? Now, the next two cards are the outside influence cards. These cards are usually people, sometimes events or energies or belief systems that are having an effect on us in the month of March that we need to be aware of. They're sometimes helping us, sometimes hindering us. So let's see what they are. So one is the Four of Swords. Interesting. And one is the Queen of Swords. Ooh, bitch. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say this. It feels like there's a lot of outside judgment coming at us, Aries. The Four of Swords is not necessarily a bad card. Fours are generally stability, right? And to me, the Four of Swords feels like stability. But when I flip this Four of Swords and I look at these two ladies like lounging on these flowers, to me, I hear these like sort of almost judgmental voices. And the swords pointing in the different directions feel like they're giving mixed signals, right? Some are pointing that way, some are pointing that way. And to me, you're like living in your abundance here. There's this beautiful sort of abundance, excuse me, that's being driven by this Wheel of Fortune. Let me get a sip of water. And to me, the Four of Swords does not necessarily represent haters, but this feels like a little bit of that sort of jealous energy maybe coming at you from outside. So be aware of that, because you might be doing well. You might be so much in your optimism. I mean, look at, like, she's feeling herself right there, right? She's like, this woman is like got her falcon, she's got her giant pentacle, all of those pentacles lined up. She has her like servant woman there. These two over here are like, who's that bitch? Why she got it so good? Now, the stability of the Four to me takes place when outside influences come in and try and undermine us. We're so strong in this Nine of Pentacles that we don't allow that bullshit in. That's what creates stability. They're actually doing us a favor by being judgmental Judys, right? Because Judge Judy Shineland has come to visit us today in our Aries world, we are actually able to sort of stabilize ourselves and what we've got by seeing their jealousy or their sort of their thoughts on our situation and being like, well, yeah, so what? I got it going on. Deal with it. So these, if you experience Judge Judy's in the month of March, embrace them in a sense, like let their judgment or their thoughts and ideas about how you should do things, their expressions or whatever, don't let that sweat you. Don't let that bug you. What it's going to do is, if you actually find appreciation for it and continue doing you in the way that you have been doing you, it's going to actually, they're going to inadvertently make you more stable and stronger, is what that card says to me. So this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's annoying, but it's not bad. Now, over here, we have the Queen of Swords. Again, another outside sword, elemental air, intellect card outside of you. A lot of ideas being thrown at you, I feel like, Aries, in the month of March. This Queen of Swords, though, I feel like she feels like a very wise woman. I feel like she feels to me like she's actually a benefit coming to you or a opportunity coming to you. She appreciates what you've done, where these two over here are kind of like, oh, who does she think she is? This lady over here is like, she reminds me of me. I'm a queen, and this lady here in the Nine of Pentacles is creating that queen energy for herself, right? And if you're a male Aries and you're watching this, yes, you can create some queen energy. Don't worry, it doesn't make you gay. You know, it's $20 is $20. Let's just say that, okay? But if you're creating this air of authority about you and this abundance about you, people that already have that are going to appreciate that and see that within you, and they're going to honor that. And that's what I feel like this Queen of Swords is. A Queen of Swords is definitely a decision-oriented, air, intellectual, smart, in control woman. Doesn't necessarily always have to be a woman, but to me, don't be surprised if you come across a woman that's like this. This could be a boss who appreciates you. This could be a mother that like validates you on how far you've come. This could be, you know, just some lady that you have a certain amount of respect for that actually acknowledges all of that you've done and is maybe offering further assistance in helping you to create that abundance. Remember, we have this Two of Cups up here, this bonded relationship that's happening, this sort of love. You might bond with this woman, not in love per se, but like at a deeper level where she's willing to come and help you through a problem, help you with, like, smooth out some sort of a kink in your plan, whatever it is. Be open to her help and her assistance. She very well may be an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or oh shit, I can't think of the last air sign, Aquarius. Yeah, so that, or have heavily placed planets in those signs, right? But she's going to be a very intellectual person, decisive decision maker, in charge, that sort of an energy. Now, if she's not there to help you, she's certainly there to appreciate you, is what I feel. She's going to honor you in some way in the month of March. She's looking down at her with love. I see it. And she's saying, like, wow, you've done a really good job for yourself. Now, these two over here, maybe not so much. They're kind of going like, who is she? But we don't need them. They only empower us to be stronger. This Wheel of Fortune as our foundation in March really is giving us everything we choose to focus on. Focus on the honor. Focus on the, you know, the exaltation of being maybe acknowledged by our peers or people that we see as above us, right? They are going to acknowledge the work that we've done or the strides that we have made, and we need to, like, focus more on that and allow the naysayers to sort of fall away, and we become more stable, and this wheel continues to turn. Continue to talk to spirit and continue to create from this place of abundance. There's beauty coming at you, Aries. There is good things coming for you. You have to believe that. All right. Now, this last card is my what I call the potential outcomes for the month. Right. So this card is potential in the sense that we have free will and free choice. You can make choices and changes at any point in time. If this is a negative card, it's not set in stone, but this is sort of the future card. This is how the overall energy will end out in March for Aries. If it is a good card, we can take heart in the fact that it's naturally heading towards this outcome. But if it's a card that's negative, we do have the opportunity to use free will to make choices and affect change and affect this outcome. Okay? So let's see what this is. This is the Knave of Wands. Now, I love this card as an outcome because to me, it feels like we are definitely learning something. Knaves always have this aspect of being sort of more youthful, a little bit impulsive, but that's okay. Wands being the element of fire, which is your element, guys, right? Aries is a fire sign. So we're ending out the month in our fiery energy, right? And also the end of March is the beginning of Aries season, right? So that's another like added benefit to all of this. But with the Knave of Wands, to me, it feels like there's an opportunity for spiritual growth and learning here. There's an opportunity for appreciation here. It's almost like we get acknowledged by this wonderful Queen of Swords here, and then we start this new sort of, we begin the next phase of our journey, which is this deepening understanding of ourselves spiritually and the power of that, the power of our fiery nature, right? That's the Wands aspect of this card. We start to understand that. We start to understand and appreciate the beauty of that, the strength of that, we start to ground in that. And then there's things to learn. There's opportunities in this Knave of Wands that will continue on probably into the months of April, May, and throughout the rest of the year, where we get to grow ourselves in ways that are going to enhance us spiritually and educate us spiritually, and also help us to embrace our own element of fire, that dynamism, that creative energy that sometimes can be hard to harness, that sometimes gets us in trouble. Well, the Knave is here to sort of be enthusiastic and begin to learn sort of how to master that, right? He's the beginning stages of that. And that mastery is there for you guys in that Wheel of Fortune as the foundation. You have to want that, and you have to believe in that. That's also this idea of this deepening of the spiritual connection to the self, and then learning a little bit more about your fiery energy and that element, and growing that, like this flower that he's holding, is reflected in this Two of Cups, guys. It's that idea of connecting to ourselves at a deeper level, at a spiritual level, so that we can begin to grow ourselves here. And when we do that, I think that this material wealth and this abundance that we're working from in March continues to sort of flourish. So it's going to be interesting to see where you guys go in April. But that is your forecast. If you guys are interested in a private forecast for yourself, you can certainly message me at my business page, or direct message me at my Instagram, and I can answer any questions in regards to booking a reading. I hope you guys have a wonderful March. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, do whatever to support the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Share this to other Aries friends. If you date an Aries or know people with Aries rising or whatever, please share this video with them. Let them know that March could be a very opportune month for them. They need to know this wheel is underneath all of it spinning. They set this wheel in motion a while back, and it is a very strong foundation, but it's also the foundation that's going to push this either towards the positive, or it could push us towards the negative, right? So keep that in mind. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your viewership, and I will talk to you guys soon. I need to move on to the next fire sign. All right, bye. All right, my lovely Leos. How are you guys? I hope you guys are well. Let's see what's going on for Leo. Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of March. Those with heavily placed planets in the sign of Leo. What is going on? Leo, Leo, Leo. March 2020. Okay, Leo. Oh, that just kind of popped out of there. Let's use that. Okay. All right, so this is your first card, is your default setting card. This sort of tells me a little bit about sort of where you're going to be at the beginning of the, or throughout the month, where you're kind of vibrating at. It's not necessarily, the entire month. It's just, you'll be sort of, this is where you're sort of at in the month of March, right? It not only gives me that indicator of what you're up to, but it also can kind of give me insight into what you could be potentially creating, either good or bad. Okay, so let's look at that card. Wow, so you guys have the Two of Cups. We just saw this as the soul card for Aries. So this is all about sort of communion, emotional communion, relationships. There's a definite focus on relationships. Our connection of ourselves to those around us, and our connection to ourselves within our own self emotionally, and how we feel about that. The Two of Cups to me is all about the feels. First and foremost, Cups is the element of water, and it is the emotions. It's kind of like, I feel like it's sort of your opposing element though, because Leos are fire and water is, puts out fire, so to speak. But what I do think is beneficial is sometimes it's nice when we have the opposite in our center, because we're learning different aspects of ourself, or we're learning about different depths of who we are through the other elements, right? Because ultimately everybody has, you guys are ruled by fire, but everybody has aspects and planets in multiple different elements, right? So this is maybe Leo's opportunity. March is maybe Leo's opportunity to explore sides of itself that maybe aren't necessarily as familiar as you would think, right? Or as you would think. Now, what I am going to say as I'm talking away here is, I noticed this little, do you guys see this little Leo sign there? It's like this bat. It's like a lion's head with wings over this couple. So I like that that's there. I just noticed that as I was talking. So that to me, it also speaks to a little bit of Leonine, how do I want to put this? Even though this is a Cups card and it's a water element, Leos love, and you guys love deeply, and you love hard. And so to me, this feels like this is the exploration of that. This is the focus on that in the month of March. This is the opportunity to sort of really deepen those relationships, either with yourself or with those around you, and really explore that love and the emotions that come along with that, both the good and the bad, right? But to me, this feels like my Leos are definitely going to be concentrated on having a bit of the feels, for sure, in March, but I think that in the end, even if it maybe is emotional for you guys, it's going to be for your benefit. The Two of Cups is always about, to me about a deepening of our relationships, right? And that to me is a good thing. There's more of an emotional connection happening here. Now, if this emotional connection is to ourselves, great. If this emotional connection is to other ones, people outside of ourselves, that's great too. To me, the Two of Cups always comes with this sort of honor and this, love that comes out of it, right? So this could be romantic, but this could also be friendships or familial relationships. But whatever it is, the month of March is going to be good for you guys to really explore how you're feeling about those that you love, and maybe even yourself. Now, the next card, and this is going to be like a focus for my Leos, right? Now, the next card is the foundation card. So I use the analogy of the foundation of a house. When you build a house, you lay the foundation first. This card is from the past. It's what everything is sort of built upon, right? That has created everything to be the way that it is in this for the month of March. It's also the memory of this card that sort of holds everything in place. So we have the Nine of Swords. So to me, this feels like a loss of some sort. Like, as I'm looking at her, like, the minute that I flip this over, I look at all of these swords, and swords is the element of air and the intellect, right? And it is sort of our opposite element. Like, not our, I don't mean opposite in a bad way, like water would be the opposite of fire, right? But air is our complementary, that's what I mean. Air is our complementary element, right, to fire. So it is our complementary, but I feel like there's something she's reaching out for, like there was a loss of some sort. Like that she was sort of I feel like this might not have been even a recent loss for some of my Leos. This might have been a loss that was impactful, that may have been a little while ago. But it's like we're still sort of recovering from it. And I feel like as I'm looking at this, this Two of Cups is sort of like part of that recovery from this loss. And this loss, I feel like, as the foundation for my Leos, it took a toll on us mentally. That's the Nine Swords that are here. And it's up and down, right? They're both pointed up and down. And to me, it feels like, you know, Leo held it together is what I want to say. This is what I'm sort of hearing or feeling, is that my Leos, you guys, you held it together for a good amount of time now. This could have been a loss that happened a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. And you've been struggling with this in the background for a while, right? You've been not letting it get the best of you is what I want to feel like saying. It's what I feel like is going on is like, it's sort of, but it's been underneath. It's been the undercurrent, this up and down, this sort of like, for some of you, this is a death, because when I just did that, I saw that machine, you know, that the heartbeat machine, and I felt like for some of you, this was a loss, like a death, where the heartbeat machine turned off or flatlined. And I don't mean to be rude about that or blunt, but that was just sort of what flashed in my mind as I was looking at these swords going up and down. So for some of you Leos, this might have been a significant actual passing. And for others, it might have been a loss of something that maybe you thought was going to be there. This would be also sort of indicative of like where my mind is going as I'm looking at this. Is it would be like a sort of a tower moment where things were sort of like the rug was slid out from under my Leos. And I feel like this was a while ago. Her arm outstretched says to me that this was a while ago for you guys. This was not just last week. This was like something that you have maybe not pushed under the rug, but you have sort of been like dealing with it quietly for a while now. And it's had its ups and downs. That's these swords up and down, right? Mentally, you've kind of given it a lot of your energy. This Two of Cups says to me that you're finally starting to sort of center emotionally again around this loss or this change, this shift that is the foundation. And the month of March is the opportunity to sort of feel yourself again, maybe a little bit. Feel like you can love again a little bit. Feel like you can like slow down enough and connect again a little bit, right? Where this energy here, we've come to terms with to a degree. That's the 9. There is an abundance with the 9 of Swords, but to me, there is this sort of idea that like we understand it better now. And so we're able to be more present in our relationships with this Two of Cups. Does that make sense? Now, the next card is your soul or spirit card. This is up above you. So let's see what this is. This is the Queen of Swords. Interesting. She showed up in our Aries reading too. So I feel like we have this 9 of Swords at the bottom, yet we have this Queen of Swords at the top. This says to me that your spirit is telling you, Leo, get your head in the game. You've got this now. You can do this. That whatever you've dealt with over the last few years that's been a struggle mentally, you've mastered and you haven't realized it yet. And your spirit is going to show you how well you have mastered it by bringing you this Queen of Swords energy in the month of March. It wants you to realize how hard you've worked and that this woman here has become this woman here. Do you see that, guys? That's what the cards are showing me right now. That this woman that struggled for so long, or that toiled in her thoughts or her fears or her worries or whatever in the background now, there's a strength here in this Nine of Swords that you guys, Leos, don't necessarily lead with like, I'm worried, I'm this, I'm that. You've gotten to this place, and this might be a deepening, this Two of Cups might be a deepening of a relationship to your sense of self, only because this Queen of Swords is such a strong presence in the soul space, that this says to me that there's an appreciation that's happening, that your soul is trying to show you how much you've done intellectually, how decisive you've been, how strong you've been, how much respect you deserve, how much you deserve to honor yourself at this point in time. Because you've worked very hard to get here. So in the month of March, keep that in mind and keep that in your space. Try not to let this struggle energy here be what is driving you or guiding you. This is, remember, this is the foundation card. This is the memory of this can kind of hold things in place. We want to rebuild that new relationship to ourselves with this woman as us, not this woman. We've been through this. We dealt with this. We lost this, or we struggled with this. Whatever this is for my Leos, you guys have done it. You've been up and down with it for a long time. You've learned it. You've done the lesson. You've got to let it go. And step into this Queen of Swords energy, this decisive, clear thinking, strong, authoritative, demanding respect energy. You deserve it. Okay? Month of March is your time to do that. Now, the next two cards are the outside influences. These are people, events, sometimes things more vague like energies or belief systems that are having an effect on us, either positively or negatively, and we just need to be made aware of them. So let's see what they are. They're outside of us, they're not of us. So one is the Two of Wands. Finally some fire energy, yay. Let's see what the other one is, just because I'm nosy bitch. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is showing up quite a bit. He's shown up in 3 of the 6 readings, or 5 readings that I've done so far. All right, so this Two of Wands is the first bit of fiery energy that we've got. Wands represents the element of fire. Let me just look at this for one moment. I feel like Spirit is all over this one, Leo. I feel like Spirit is like, I feel like Spirit is here, and I feel like even though this just showed up in Aries and I believe Pisces reading, I feel like this goes back to a more spiritual feeling to me in this reading. I feel like this angel is looking back on this Two of Cups, and there's these opportunities that are coming from the outside where we can deepen our relationship to ourselves through our spirit and through our connection to ourselves emotionally. That's going to help us to understand ourselves at a deeper level spiritually. And from that deepening of that, awareness, we start to create sort of material abundance. We start to create opportunities. We start to feel more complete and whole. Things start to come to us from the outside world that are like added bonuses, great benefit, that sort of thing, appreciation. But these two, I'm going to say these two twos, that sounds weird, but these two twos here are telling me that as we sort of honor ourselves emotionally and honor those around us and connect at a deeper level, we start to open ourselves up to this opportunity for Spirit to come in and deepen its connection with us too. And from that, we also open ourselves up to the benefits of that through, say, manifestation, through, opportunities, financial, material, relationship-wise. They start to come in because the Nine of Pentacles is a very abundant card, right? And so to me, it feels like there is opportunities coming at us that are very beneficial, both at a spiritual level and at a material level. The ones, I'm going to say this, the ones at the spiritual level, that Two of Wands is a quiet card. Pay attention, Leo. Keep your eyes out for those opportunities. When Spirit visits, acknowledge it and deepen that relationship with your guides, with yourself, with your own spirit. I love how these geese are flying towards this Two, but this angel, she's looking back towards the Two, but she's got her back turned. Like she's sort of, I almost feel like she's walking in a circle around this Two of Cups. Like she wants you to come to her. We need to seek her out. There's going to be, I feel like I want to say there's going to be signs and symbols throughout the month of March for my Leos. Keep an eye out for them. That's this. They may be a little bit more subtle, but we have to keep an eye out for them. We have to acknowledge them, and when we acknowledge them, she will come closer. The geese will fly in. It'll happen. That's the best way I can explain it. And when that starts to happen, this material benefit will start to take place and start to flow in. All right, so now the next card is the potential outcomes card. I always caveat this by saying that this is not set in stone, guys. This is just a potential outcome. We have free will, so this is how the month is going to go into the future and end out for my Leos. But if it's a negative card, we can use it as a warning to make choices and changes through free will to affect the outcome. So it's not set in stone by any means. But if it's a beneficial card, we can take heart in the fact that it's naturally heading that way, and we can just allow it to come into being. So let's see what that is. Beautiful. We have the Seven of Pentacles. So to me, this is a lovely card. I feel like he's like singing in this music, right? Like he's blowing this horn. To me, Pentacles is this beautiful like Nine of Pentacles energy. Again, we've got Earth, we've got this sort of this wealth or this abundance coming at us. Let me just look at this for one moment. I feel like we're going to be ending off, my Leos are going to be ending off this month with a feeling of like definite satisfaction, with like sort of pleasure, with like an appreciation of the things that you have. You may not have everything is what I'm hearing or feeling, but you're happy and content with the things that you have. And that's this Seven of Pentacles. To me, with him blowing on that shell, it sort of feels like you're singing the praises of what you do have. It may not be everything, but it's definitely sufficient enough. And some of that stems from this appreciation in this Two of Cups. This love of those around us, this love of ourselves, this deepening of this relationship to ourselves, and this releasing of this Nine of Swords allows us to sort of bring in spirit, bring in some more material abundance. And at the end of the month, it may not be like, you know, we're overflowing with riches, but we're really, really, I feel like this sense of deep gratitude in this Seven of Pentacles. The way that he's blowing on that shell horn, I feel like there's this deep sense of gratitude within my Leos for what you do have in the world. And that to me is not only beautiful, but it also sort of cements this idea of maybe setting yourself up to receive even more of that as you move forward. And the reason why I say that is because this Two here, she's circling you. And if you invite her in, and these things start coming, and at the end of the month we're in this gratitude, she will continue to visit. This sort of spirit will continue to come around, whether that's our own spirit or our guides. It will continue to come around, and it will continue to visit us and grace us with its presence, and we will continue to find opportunities to be grateful, and things will sort of like exponentially get bigger or better is what I'm feeling. Okay? I hope that makes sense. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to comment at the business page or on my YouTube channel and let me know. I'll try and respond there at those places. But this feels like it feels like you guys are releasing something that's been causing you guys a lot of stress. You're deepening your relationships and starting to honor yourself more. And from doing that, you're going to be getting a little bit of not only a better connection to spirit, but some material gain in the process. And just remember to keep an attitude of gratitude the entire month. You will feel truly grateful by the end of March. Not that you don't feel it now, but there's just this sense of gratitude I feel in that Seven of Pentacles that is, it would be interesting to see how y'all feel at the end of the month. I would love it if some of my Leos would come back and tell me. All right, you guys, that's your reading. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's so hard to build subscribers. But if you are watching this and you do have a YouTube account, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. It's Engelgeist, and follow me on Instagram, whatever. You guys know how to support channels that you like, so please feel free to do so. I would love some Leonine love. You guys have a wonderful March, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Also, check out the yearlies. I have yearlies over on my YouTube channel too, and we're only in February, so you can look and see if January and February were accurate. All right, thank you very much, Leos. I'm going to move on to Sagittarius. Okay. All right, Sagittarius. Hi, Sag. How are you guys? My final fire sign. I hope you guys are well. I am getting ready to do your March forecast for those with a sun, moon, or rising in Sagittarius, or heavily placed planets in Sagittarius. This video would be for you. If you care about a Sagittarius, this video would be something you may want to watch or share with them. Please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you're interested in a private reading, you can always message me at my business page or at Instagram. You can follow me at Instagram at Engelgeist333. Beyond that, let's see what Sag has in store for them. This is a broad spectrum reading for a lot of people with both sun, moon, and rising. So if anything in this reading applies, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It just means that it might be meant for someone else. So take what you need and sort of leave the rest. If I say anything that's super accurate, I love it when people leave me messages on the business page or at the YouTube videos with specifics. It's a great validation, and it makes me feel really good, and it reminds me of why I do what I do. So, and if you hate it, you can even tell me, like, look, I hate you. You suck. I might even enjoy that. I don't know. Okay, so let's see what's going on with Sag. I wouldn't enjoy that. I'm just kidding. But, you know. Just comment or whatever. Alright, so this first card for Sagittarius is what I call sort of like the default setting card for the month. Now this is kind of where you're going to be vibrating at for the month of March. Most of the month, not the entire time, but most of the month, right? So it gives me a little insight into sort of not only where you're at for the month of March, but also what you could be potentially creating into the future, because this is what you're putting out in March. Alright? So this is the Three of Swords. This is like the heartache card. Swords is the element of air and the intellect. And so, to me, I would say that my Sages are kind of maybe going through it a little bit mentally. You guys might be processing some old feelings that you have. You might be having some struggles in the month of March. I will say this. We are in a Mercury retrograde for the first half of March, so that might be part of it too. But this to me feels more like emotional, even though it is an air sign card, it is a swords card. Because that heart has those three swords running through it, to me this feels like past pain is being brought up, hurt is being brought up. There is a lot of do I want to say this? Like thoughts or feelings that are being dealt with throughout the month. You might be revisiting areas where it hurts, or where it hurts. Where is the boo boo? Let me just look at this. Okay. Past pain is going to be an issue in the month of March. Past hurts, reflecting on those things, thinking about those things, measuring those things, trying to figure those things out. That is definitely going to be something on board for Sagittarius in the month of March. I look at this though, and I feel like when I look at this angel, I feel like you're not alone. I feel like there's this opportunity here to receive help. There is this opportunity to receive guidance. This could be not only spirit-led guidance, but I look at this sort of woman in the river here. She's sort of like, almost feels like she's being pulled out of the river by this angel. The river of her emotions, right? Rivers representing water, and water being the emotions. And then we have the intellect here with the swords, all three of them through the heart. To me, this is not necessarily where Sag likes to be, per se. But I am going to say this. Swords is your complementary element, right? It is the element of air. So it's not like, it's like instead of being at home in a fire card, you're at home in your neighbor's house, air. So that's kind of a good thing. And I feel like with the Three of Swords, this is an opportunity to do some healing work that needs to be done for you. And you're not alone. You are being guided. Like I look at his arm and he sort of feels like he's pointing in the way that you need to go, like towards the future. So I think that there is a grace to this card, and there is a beauty to this card, but it's just it's a bit of it's a bit of work, let's say, both mental work and possibly emotional work in the month of March for you guys. You might be finding yourselves going in and out of that sort of struggle feeling, but it's gonna, I feel like when we do this kind of work, it's actually really beneficial for us. So the next card is the foundation card. This is sort of, I use the analogy of building a house, laying the foundation of the house. This is the card from the past that is built upon the foundation, right? This card represents the foundation, so everything is built upon this card. This card opened the door for all of the rest of the cards to come into play in March. It's also the memory of this card that sort of keeps things held in place. So this is the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful card. Now, normally, with the Ace of Pentacles, this would be like bang on great. For some reason, when I look at this card, I feel like this is a foundation of having everything that you think you want on paper, but you don't. When I look at this card, I feel like, okay, the Ace of Pentacles would be like, Pentacles being the element of earth and the sort of financial sector, right? Money, wealth, those sort of things to deal with in the material world. Aces being that sort of abundance of it, that overflow, that like wonderfulness. But to me, when I look at this woman sitting here, I feel like we've created all of this stuff, and at some point when we created all of this and we achieved all of this sort of success, we realized that this success didn't really bring us what we wanted. It's the feeling that I get from this card. It's also being the number one card. I'm looking at this one and I feel like there's this foundation of feeling somewhat alone in this success. And like I feel like as I'm looking at this card, my Sagittarius should be enjoying their success, but they can't. And part of the reason why they can't is because of what's going on up here in this center. It's like they have sort of the they worked hard, they got everything that they thought that they wanted, and when they got it, it didn't turn out to be. It either brought them pain, or the pain that they didn't deal with in the pursuit of this material stuff has now resurfaced, and they cannot enjoy it fully because they're having to now address what's going on here in this Three of Swords. I don't know if that makes sense for any of you guys that are watching, but that's sort of what I'm feeling here. Is I feel like there's this opportunity here for this wealth or this building of abundance as the foundation, but you're unable to enjoy it. Like, to me, I want to say this being a 1 card is it feels like you've worked really hard. My Sagittarius have worked really hard to sort of create the life or the abundance that you want, but yet you can't seem to share it. Like when I'm looking at this card, this number 1 is saying to me, but I'm alone. Like I've worked really hard to get all of this stuff, and I want to share it, but it's not that it's not appreciated, but it almost feels like it doesn't bring me the joy that I thought it would. And then we have this sort of 3 of Swords activity happening in the month of March, where we're like sort of picking through our brain and our hearts, kind of maybe going over the reasons why, even though we have the things that we thought we wanted that should bring us joy, that should make us happy, that should make us feel like materially content, they're not. And I'm telling you that there's an angel or a guide or someone here to help you out of that river of emotion. It's funny too, because she's in this river and she seems really like she's in her own river of emotions too. Alright, so let me go to the next card. The next card is the Spirit or Soul card. This tells me about where your spirit or soul is at, what it wants in all of this. So this is the 6 of Cups. I'm going to leave this here so you guys can see it. I love this card because it's like this woman patting this little kid on the head. The 6 to me feels very sort of, I don't know, balanced in a way, because we've got 3 on top and 3 on bottom. But Cups being the element of water, and it also being, the emotions, this being in your soul space says to me that emotionally you guys want to feel content. You guys want to feel this sort of idea, like when I look at this woman patting this little child on the head, like to me this is about wanting that sort of emotional connection that is not happening in this 3 of Swords, that didn't happen through this Ace of Pentacles. We tried to achieve it through the Ace of Pentacles, that didn't bring it. And then mentally it's brought us sort of like a little bit of anguish or pain that we're dealing with and working through. But what our goal here is that we want this connectedness, we want this sort of balanced love, emotional connection that is like caring, compassionate, and maybe some of my Sages need to be a little bit more caring and compassionate towards themselves, like this mother is being towards this child. I have a feeling that maybe you guys might be a little bit critical of yourselves, especially with this 3 of Swords in the center here. This might be you guys not giving yourselves enough of a break. She feels a little bit sad to me too, like even though you've achieved a lot, it still doesn't feel like it's enough to you. You need to like almost not be so critical in some ways. And love yourself. Your spirit wants you to dote on yourself. Treat yourself as if you're a delicate child. Give yourself that grace, right? And emotionally sort of care for yourself in that way. Because I think that that's going to sort of not only facilitate with the ability to sort of understand that you have, I mean, this is a wonderful card as a foundation card. This Ace of Pentacles means that like you guys can really pull together and put together anything that you choose to do so, right? But for some reason you're not embracing that, and I think that your spirit wants you to sort of embrace yourself emotionally and care for yourself in a different way, in a way that like brings about like balance and compassion and care, so that you can work your way through the hard stuff that you might be dealing with right now, so that you can appreciate what you have the ability to achieve materially. There's definitely too, I have to say this, with that 6 of Cups up there, that mother and that child, there's this my Sages feel disconnected. Like I feel like you guys, no matter how hard you've worked, you don't feel like either you're connected or you're seen and appreciated for who you are and what you've done or what you've achieved. And I think that this has to do with familial relationships, romantic relationships, maybe friendships. But I feel like when I'm looking at these three cards together, to me the sense is that my Sages are feeling this sort of feeling of not being honored or seen in some way right now in the month of March. And I think that that Six of Cups up there in the spirit space is telling me that it's going to be up to you guys to honor yourself in that way first. Or that's what needs to take place. Now let me go to the outside influences. On either side is the outside influence cards. These cards tell me a little bit about sort of what's influencing us from the outside. This can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like energies or belief systems that are having an effect on us either positively or negatively in the month of March. So the first card you have is the Five of Wands. And the second card you have is the Knight of Wands. Okay. So the Five of Wands to me, I love that you're surrounded by fire energy, first off. I'm going to say that, Sagittarius. You have fire energy all around you. This is your home element energy surrounding you coming in from the outside. So this should be something that should feel comfortable and beneficial. It's almost like I feel like it's coming to the rescue. The Five of Swords, or sorry, the Five of Wands to me, I just said this because this was in another reading, but this is always, fives are about change. Wands is the element of spirit and the element of fire, right? So to me, I look at these three little angels as our spirit guides, kind of harnessing these wands together to create this ladder for growth to our next spiritual level. So I feel like through doing this work in the Three of Swords and addressing some of the thoughts and the feelings that we have going on in our heart and what's really going on in our world, and honoring ourselves in a deeper, more compassionate, loving level, we open ourselves up to the creation of this new ladder that we can climb. It may take the work of our mind and our body and our spirit, because there's three cherubs here, but it also might need the assistance of our spirit guides to help us to create this new sort of spiritual opportunity or path that could present itself to us that will lead us to change. These hollyhocks are about growth and beauty. The change that takes place here, even though there is work involved, will be beautiful and will provide growth and will be fruitful and will feel comfortable and good. It's a fire sign card. It's your element. So it's going to be in line with who you are as a Sag, but you have to be willing to sort of commit to it or do it. Now, on the opposite side, we have the Knight of Wands. To me, this is I feel like this could potentially be a fire sign male coming in. This could be somebody that is either an Aries, a Leo, or another Sag that could be coming to your aid to help you. This could be, I have a feeling that this is an outside person, not an energy. I have a feeling that they are noble, that their intent is good, that they want to help you. I have a feeling that they can be trusted. I like that you have this Five of Wands, which is this sort of new spiritual path that you sort of have working in the background with your spirit guides and within yourself. And then this Knight of Wands is coming in also at the same time. And I have a feeling that this Knight of Wands, he has this sort of, he's carrying this wand, he's maybe bringing the other piece to this ladder. Oh my God. He feels like he's riding in with the last piece in the ladder to get you to the next level. He can be trusted. He feels noble. And he wants to help. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's a he. For those of you that are Sagittarius, that are male, that are looking for a female to come in, this Knight could be a very upstanding female, right? This could be a potential romantic interest, I feel like. Sometimes, to me, Knights are very, they're there to serve, they're there to protect, they can be very noble sort of partners and lovers and that sort of a thing. And so to me, that's the vibe that I'm getting from this Knight of Swords, is that, or this Knight of Wands, is that not only is he part of your sort of element, like he's going to feel familiar or feel like home to you, he's going to feel comfortable, he's going to sort of like just ride right in here on his horse, just not save you per se, but connect with you, and he's bringing a piece that's missing to this ladder that you're trying to build, that's being built for you on the other side by spirit. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I'm seeing. And this card here, this Ace of Pentacles at this foundation, it's got such a sadness to it to me. Like, it feels like it's like all you want to do is you want to share, and you need to open yourself up to this. It's coming. Your soul wants it for you. All right. The next card is the potential outcomes card. I'm going to just caveat with this. I always say it's a potential outcome in the sense that this card is the future card for the month of March. It's how March will end out for the majority of my Sages, but it's not necessarily set in stone. We have free will and free choice, right? We can use those, we can use this card if it's negative as a warning to make choices and changes in our lives so that we don't have to have this outcome come to pass. But if it is something that's beneficial that we do want to have happen, we can take heart in the fact that it will naturally just flow in this direction, okay? So let's see what's going on for Sag. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Fuck me, okay. I feel like this, oh my god. Alright, he's riding in with the final piece to this ladder that's being built. This new change pathway spiritual thing that's being built by spirit. This pentacle here is the basis for my Sages. And it's not always what you thought it was going to be. I feel like, do you guys see this? This knight rides in and meets this knight by the month's end. This lady, this Ace of Pentacles foundation, she gets up on this horse and becomes the Knight of Pentacles. And she's presenting what she has, and he's presenting what he has. They're like almost giving it to each other, right? He's bringing the wand that's needed here, and this Sag outcome says to me that you're finally able to sort of appreciate yourself, your own ability to serve, your own ability to create, your own ability. And I have to say this too, Sages, it just dawned on me, look at all the fucking horses. You guys are the archer, right? Sagittarians, you're the half man, half horse. Look at the horses going on here. I feel like the incoming of this Knight of Wands helps to assist my Sages to becoming the Knight of Pentacles. You already have the Pentacles here. You've had the Pentacles and haven't not been able to enjoy them. Whatever the Pentacles are for you, if it's love, if it's money, if it's whatever that material aspect is that you have, and you're like, fuck, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It doesn't feel right. It's, I want to enjoy it with somebody else, or I don't know. And then the feeling that I get when I'm looking at these cards is, here he comes. And when he shows up, he's going to show up and he's going to teach you, he's going to give you the peace that you need, and you're going to be able to enjoy this foundation that has not, you haven't been connecting to. you've created it and you have it, and it should, you're like, I don't understand, it should feel great, it should be great, it should be good, and it just doesn't feel right. It will. There's even like, there's even a, look at this. I just want to say, we go from her, she looks forlorn and sad to me, right? Like lonely on this one card, right? We go to him. He's got a smiling face on his pentacle. He finally can appreciate what he has because he can share it, is the feeling that I'm getting. And it's being shared with somebody that understands us and appreciates us, is equal to us, compliments us. And I mean compliments not only like by paying compliments, like by saying, oh gee, your ass looks nice in those jeans, but also compliments you, like makes you a better person. It's like seeing this person sort of makes us realize, makes the Sages realize, oh wait, I'm that person too, or I have that within me, and reawakens that, or brings that about. And the two of them sort of exchange their energies, their gift, whatever. That's what I'm seeing for my Sages. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I hope that you guys, it is a beneficial outcome for the month of March. It may start, March might feel like you're going in and out of roughness. Hold tight, Sages. Somebody's coming. There's somebody, like it could be like that Knight of Wands is, he feels like he's trotting in. Like you can even see that this Knight of Pentacles is standing still, right? Where he's trotting his way in, like he's on his way in, and by the end, you're able to sort of maybe appreciate what you have again. I hope that makes sense. Please leave me a comment on the YouTube video once it's uploaded, or on the business page, and let me know what you thought, if it does make sense, or where this applies in your life. If it doesn't make sense, you can let me know that too. Again, please like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're on Twitter or Instagram and you know how to share videos on Instagram, please share this video out there. I don't know how to do videos on Instagram. I'm so Instagram stupid, it's not even funny. I'm trying to figure it out, but you can also follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. If you want, you can also support my Patreon page under Engelgeist. I do have a subscription service over there if you want all of these videos, and there's some extra stuff over there that's not accessible via YouTube because those people pay a monthly fee. But if you want to support me in that way, you're more than welcome to do that, and it's all greatly appreciated. But any share, like, comment, subscribe is always appreciated. It helps me to realize that I'm making a difference, and that this is making sense to people, and that it's actually helping people, because that's what I want to do in the world. I don't want to do anything that's meaningless anymore. Alright, I love you good Sages, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful March. Hang in there, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.